As I mentioned earlier, I'm heading out for a 4-month sabbatical starting after next Sunday, and this will be my last Sunday in the pulpit before I'm away. My plans are mostly outdoors, some camping trips, time with family, and a lot of hours in my garden. I'll also be chipping away at my endless home project list, which you may be able to relate to, digging into a stack of books I've been meaning to read, which you also may be able to relate to, and taking an herbalism class. I have plenty to look forward to. This summer is about healing and rest, and I plan to do much of that with my hands in the dirt. I spent hours in the garden yesterday. I had some plants that I needed to get in the ground, some wild geranium bulbs that I had ordered in the depths of winter to cheer myself up. And I worked on building a hugelkultur bed. I have no idea if it's going to work, but it's basically a raised bed without walls, a big hill layered with logs and twigs, and then soil on top. The theory is that as the wood breaks down, it puts lots of good bugs and microbes in the soil and acts like a sponge to hold water. And we'll see how it goes. We had our first asparagus out of the garden yesterday, and I raised a spear in toast to my father-in-law, Emmett, who passed last fall. He loved asparagus, especially from the garden, and this year it's finally thick enough that I think he would have really enjoyed it. We had very different opinions about how big asparagus should be. Earlier this month, Dr. Anton Seaman gave a talk on the impact of climate change here in Western Massachusetts. It was sobering to consider many of the challenges before us regionally, and also the crisis we face globally. There are many ways to engage in climate justice work, to bear witness to the dangers of climate change, to name how those who are most vulnerable will pay the highest price, and to work for justice-centered changes in policy and behavior that could shape our future. This work is complicated in part because it asks us to look beyond the immediate crisis, to trace the long-range consequences of today's choices, to see how whole communities are affected over time, and to sit with the complexity of our interconnected ecosystems. Especially in white and capitalist culture, we tend to move from crisis to crisis and don't take the time to reflect in community or consider the long-range impact of our actions. Our Unitarian Universalist faith can help us sit with a couple of deeper questions. Why do we need to do better? And why are we accountable to one another? If we are inexorably interconnected in the web of life, then we are responsible to one another and are called to live into ways of relating that support all people and our earth. There are some, in the face of considering our radical dependence on one another and the limitations of our resources, who have come to a different conclusion, believing that if resources are limited, then it's every person for themselves, and that we need to hold on tight to what we have. But when we hoard scarce resources, things get worse for most people and for our world. Concentrating power in the hands of a small, unaccountable few tends to lead to terrible decisions. We all share this planet. If those in power around the world let it burn in an effort to protect their power and wealth, they too will burn. It'll just take longer for them to feel it. We all lose clean water, coastlines, food supplies, and safety together. Even from a purely pragmatic standpoint, those who hold economic power have reason to act. A consumer base needs a livable planet in order to buy stuff. We are all we have. We are responsible for one another and for our home. And we are called to hold those in power accountable for their actions and especially for their inaction. Why do we honor and care for the interdependent web? If we hold our answers, and we all may have a different one, in our hearts, when we face the challenges and emotions of the day-to-day, or worry about the environment, or violence, or injustice, we can know in our bones why it matters that we keep working, and we can remember what we're fighting for. We are inexorably interconnected with all that is, and there is power in reaching toward justice that serves us all. This summer, as I connect with the beauty of the New England woods and fields, I'll be thinking about our community and the vital work that we do to support each other and grow in our spiritual lives. Our work to make this a more just world. I want to take a little moment to thank all the volunteers who have stepped up to cover a whole spreadsheet of tasks and roles while I'm away. I am grateful for your time and support. When I return in September, we will have been through a whole season of growing things, and we'll be at harvest. I'll miss you, and I'm also deeply grateful for this time to refuel my spirit. In the realm of preaching what I need to hear, I want to remind all of you, especially our congregational leaders, to ask for help when you need it, and to take yes for an answer when someone offers to help. It's something I continue to work on myself. And also, please remember that nothing needs to be, or even can be, perfect. We are a community of people who are all in this together, connected and responsible to our interconnected web of life and all that is. Take care of each other. And in the face of all the challenges before us out in the world, take lots of deep breaths. Drink water. Stop to smell some roses. I want all of you also to take rest when you need it, so that we can tackle the next challenge. Be well, amen, and blessed be.